We began Proper Lab in response to the growing need for an African solution on cyber threats and surveillance and spyware threats on the continent. What we've built is a solution, a program, if you may, that really first leads threat investigation on the continent, but also support an ecosystem of advocates and policy researchers, cybersecurity professionals to be able to do their work better. So we're contributing a lot of our artifacts and threat intel to support their work to be able to do their work better. So the first issue is that no such threat lab exists in Africa. So what we're building is actually the very first one on the continent. But the major differentiating factor for us is that we're not just building a lab to conduct investigation. Yes, we will do that. Every threat lab should do that. But the major differentiating factor for us is that we're building an institution, we're building a program that really supports other professionals, right? Cybersecurity professionals, legal professionals, activists, advocates. What we're doing is creating something that they can feed from to be able to do their work better. And so we have artifacts, we have threat intel coming out from the lab, which can then support the work that other people are doing. Up until now, we do not have that. We've not had that. So we're building something that really can drive the work that other people are doing on the continent. There is no one institution really that can answer that question. And the reason is because we haven't done investigations extensively enough to be able to answer that. There are reports here and there, but quite a number of them are actually built on conjectures and hypotheses, not really evidence. We've seen, of course, a handful of situations of people being arrested, and we can only say that it was on the back or the basis of surveillance that they were being arrested. And we have really examples almost everywhere on the continent. But how big the problem is, we really need to do investigations to know that. And this is what Proper Lab is setting out to do, right? To be able to give empirical evidence, to give fact-based evidence to institutions and to research centers to be able to say, you know what, we're not just saying that this thing is happening. We're not just saying that because we're guessing or based on hearsays, but we've done the research, we've done the investigations, and these are evidence that actually this is happening. So how prevalent it is, I would say, the issues are there, but we don't know how big it is until we do the research and investigations, and that's what we're doing at Proper Lab. The open source model for us is very critical because it solves two key problems for us. The very first problem is that it solves a diversity problem on the continent. We're very similar people in Africa, but we're also very different. And with the open source model, it means that each region is able to really just adapt or take what works in another region and adapt it to their own context, which for us is very important. So that means that we do not have one solution that is just duplicated across, but that each one's able to take what works and just adapt it to their context. That's the first reason. The second reason, which for me is the most important, is that when you have one institution that works, it's very easy to target that institution and break it down. But when you have multiple institutions working, and by that I mean in computer science we call this the mesh topology. And what that means is you arrange a set of computers in such a way that by targeting or even just compromising one computer, it doesn't affect the rest. And that's what we're trying to do with Proper Lab. That's the approach we're trying to take. The open source model helps us to really not be the only node that is working. We want to take our effort, democratize it, and duplicate it across different regions such that different researchers, professionals are able to really just take our work and actually do the work in their region. What that means is, even if Proper Lab were to come to an end, the work will continue because we have different people doing the same work across different regions in Africa. Our resilience technologies, we provide innovative cybersecurity solutions to at-risk communities and civil society on the African continent. And it made sense to do Proper Lab as a separate expression. And the reason is because with all our other cybersecurity initiatives, we're really just working directly with clients and providing services. Where Proper Lab, we're really working on something really bigger, and it just made sense to do it separately. Proper Lab was actually our first initiative last year, first solution we decided to work on, but it just made sense to just keep it on the side for a while. And we started to work on Zero's Cloud. And that made a lot of sense in retrospect because with Proper Lab, now we're able to generate a lot of threat intelligence, a lot of telemetry from the clients that we work with, which informs the intelligence and gives us like raw material for Proper Lab. So we have like raw data to analyze within Proper Lab. And so Zero's Cloud and Proper Lab, I think, are the most complementary solutions that we have because With the work we do with Zero Cloud generating all of this intelligence, Purple Lab is able to make sense of all of that and support the system, the ecosystem, and the communities that we work with. Success for us at Purple Lab would be that organizations are able to take the good work that we do within the lab and then challenge government within the court of law, or are able to bring empirical evidence before the masses and conduct advocacy against surveillance and spyware threats on the continent. Right now, that is very non-existent. If you wanted to do such a work, there's really no hardcore evidence for you to hold on to. So we want to do such good work that well-meaning legal policy and advocacy institutions can really just take the result of our work and do better work with it by, like, for instance, challenging the government in a court of law as to their use of surveillance techniques and technologies within the African continent. So our work is actually very foundational. The main work actually lies with all of these institutions across Africa, like advocacy institutions, legal institutions, who are able to do greater work, better work, more empirically backed work because of the good work we do at Purple Lab. So that would be success first. So there are 3 ways to engage with the work we do at Purple Lab. The very first is that you can join our private community. We have a thriving community for cybersecurity professionals, for advocates, for activists, and then you can get inside resources and information on the things we're doing. Secondly, you can partner with us on the project. You can get more information on our website there. And lastly, you can donate to the work that we do. So just visit www.purplelab.io for more information. Thank you very much.